Very good question. In fact, you can go both ways.
Yeah.
Again, if it can be enumerated,
Yeah.
you do as good a job of explaining that attribute, speed, and if it can be enumerated into levels, meaning 1 day or 10-hour turnaround or something like that, fine, it's easier. Then this whole error part is like missing attributes. Suppose you are not able to ask that question, but you know that it is critical.
Yeah, so it's trying to understand, let's say you know the speed is 30 days, right? Understanding how that plays against the rate change. For a simple example, so lower rate or 30 days faster.
Yeah, in fact, we did something similar to that, not exactly in terms of those two attributes, but it was in terms of credit cards, in terms of vests, maybe you can juggle my memory. There were two attributes, which was fee going against something free being given or something like that. Yeah, it was one-to-one correspondence there. Again, the main thing is, first you try to see if you can explain the attribute and enumerate it. Becomes easier. If you can't, it does not go into the choice variation and all those things, but you somehow measure that attribute in your survey and you put that into the model. So that's explicitly accounting for it. The third could be the more mathematical, whether you don't want to do that, but you can try to say that if that is critical in the decision making, if you have some research into that, behavioral research, that that's a critical thing for consumers, you can try to make error as a function of that, what we call in math, you know. So your error is discriminated, people are discriminated more. So if for some person that attribute really matters, their errors will be more explained because you accounted for it to be explained.
One comment and one question. So my comment is really related to using the attitudinal and perceptual attributes. This is something that we've done a lot in our business, and it really speaks to the multiple streams of research that you do. That you do your qualitative work up front, you try to understand all of these attributes, you really drill down to the consumer language, and use that as your choice model. So you get at the subjective attitudinal levels very efficiently and very effectively. My question is more around the choice set. One of the things we do, our brands have very low awareness. So we tend to use a...
Who are you again?
Career Education Corporation. So our brands have very low awareness. Oh, the blank stares? I'm correct. So
you just up that by whatever percent. So good job.
Small fraction of 1,000.
Yeah.
So we tend to actually use a non-branded approach to our choice modeling exercises. Can you just speak a little bit to, and this goes to the choice set issue, can you just speak a little bit to the trade-off between non-branded, brand agnostic, with all the things that you have assumptions you have to make there on the back end with share preference, versus a branded approach?
Fair question, and again, you have to think from the consumer point of view. If consumer is not aware of your brand, somehow, if you put your brand out in the market, they may get aware by just walking in the store, shelf, or wherever, you know, or just a billboard. It may not actively register. There is this whole area called brand equity research. You know how one way that is measured by conjoint is you put your branded products and you put a generic product. The value, when you, in your simulation, you work out, if you keep all the brand, what is the difference between the generic and the branded is called the brand premium. So it's not that non-branded are not included in the study. So you can have non-branded product, you can just name it by saying, if you really don't want to explicitly name your competitors, I think that's where you are getting to. Everything is non-branded, right?
Yeah, it's there's no brand attribute. We typically don't include a brand attribute.
Yeah, even that is fine, that the conjoint is done with that, you know. It is to again think that the whole idea is to how realistic you can make your choice study. And if people are really not aware, you can try to measure that, you know. It should not register to them even if you gave the task to them, right? and it will come out in that, and that's why I gave you the brand equity example that people do include to figure out how below they are or what they need to do to make up. And you bring a very good point that if your brand does not have awareness or low awareness, you are early up in the purchase funnel. Doesn't matter what you do, your choice is the end of the purchase funnel. Awareness, consideration. So you should be focusing all your marketing strategy on trying to get first awareness, then to do consideration. In fact, we have whole other last conference was this whole research into, we are modeling how do you model a purchase funnel with awareness, consideration, and choice. And I could have made one thing here, which is what choice set was getting to, that conjoint only focuses at the end state choice. Accounting for choice set will focus on consideration. Because you saw the social media example, social media may not be affecting the end choice. But it is, there is enough evidence that is impacting consideration. You bring a brand into consideration because your friend bought it and you read the comment on the Facebook. So the better model for you would be, instead of doing conjoint, you can do conjoint for the brand equity, how far or how much you need to catch up to the brand, But a better model would be that can you model the whole purchase funnel with that low awareness, so what you need to get to a consideration. You cannot get chosen if you don't get considered. You cannot get considered if people don't know about you, So there are different models to consider, and that's another fascinating field. Yeah.
So let's do one more question and then we'll take a break because we're getting ahead of track here.
How hard is it to sell software attributes? Because I cringe to think my clients are mid-level managers. I call them the trench soldiers. And it's very difficult for me to articulate something like peace of mind as an attribute. They are more happy with something that reads something like, in a double-blinded study of 14 respondents, there was 2% variability in hemolytic cytokines. For them, that's an acceptable attribute, whereas something like empowerment or peace of mind is like, huh? So is it difficult to sell, or is the mindset already there?
I do empathize with you, and that's why I started that at some point in life, meaning of life, going to seek meaning of life, answer to that question becomes really relevant. And that it is a common phenomenon, where more so if you are in an engineering dominated technical company or industry, because engineers rule the roost and it's a technical product, And people are not buying, not everyone is an engineer out in the marketplace. Even the most technical, you go buy a car, everything goes into engine and whatnot. Every salesperson will be selling you on the stereo system or the cup holder. Why is that? Because that's what consumers, they can't grapple with all the VTech and whatever engine that goes in there. But that's it's like, I was teaching at Cornell and we started a 1-year MBA program only for engineers. To come so that they can get more marketing and appreciate marketing, but it's a constant struggle, So you have to go back to meaning of life, and somehow deal with that stress. But it is difficult, and that's why I said the soft versus hard attribute need idea, but it's still evolving, and how best to do that. So no clear-cut answer. But that doesn't mean we should not be approaching it because it sounds right. So if it sounds right, somehow the method will catch up. And that's why academics argue, So maybe we gave them a problem.
It sounds like the meaning of life is a good time to take a restroom break.
Did we ever get an answer to that question? Did we ever get an answer to that question? What is
the meaning of life?
Yeah.
Okay, just one minute I'll take.
There's no time for meaning of life, though.
How about conjoint of life? The conjoint token is going to follow. And what it means is freedom of choice, as I have relaxed all assumptions. I'm being true. So please choose one. First is, now that seems like a cop-out. That does seem like a cop-out answer. Second, that seems like a bigger cop-out. The third one, see, I told you there are options, right? But wait, it is a conjoint. A good conjoint is when it has none of these. So there has to be more to it. And given that the scientists are going to follow me, true scientists, here is what the meaning of life is. And now we can really take the break. Thank you.